PNG Happenings.
While they're putting it up, Secretary, you are the chief advisor to the government when it comes to highways and roads. You're looking at the
the committee members, right now as we speak, the road from lay along the coast during dry weather, we go to Finsaven and come back. There's existing track. Just for information.
Yeah, well, I'm coming to you on that one, Secretary. Most of us sitting here, we come from districts. And most of us are not connected. Let me put it that way. Some of you will go to the nearest town and you walk from the nearest town to your villages. Am I correct in that? Looking at the road that you are connecting now from Leh to Finsafen, it's going through the mountains and through the jungle where you're not serving any purpose there. What is the purpose of diverting? I know you're getting political direction, but Secretary, you are the chief advisor of the government when it comes to roads and highways. Why don't you, you look at the road now, most of the people are living along the coastal area. Correct. And if you continue to maintain that road, or if you improve that road and seal that road, it serves its purpose. People there need service, not the jungle, not the mountains. It means nothing, eh? And it's not just Finsafen Road. Many other roads that we are building now, you are just punching through the jungles. And I tell you, Papua New Guinea has a problem with maintenance. You can punch in the road through the jungle, but you go back 3 years later, what happens? Booze, it'll go back to where it was before. Is it a total waste? Can we reconsider that? You as a chief advisor to the government, can you advise the government to start connecting the districts, LLGs to the districts, and districts to the province before we start looking at connecting provinces to provinces? I mean, this is reality. Our people are still struggling. They're the ones that are producing cacao and coffee and all kinds of produce that they're actually making money from. And the road must serve its purpose. We have to build roads through LLGs, through districts, and into the provinces, so that the produce are channeled all the way to where it's supposed to go. So my question is, why do we have to listen to political directions to just build roads into the jungle and not to where the people are supposed to get service from?
That's a very valid point and a question that you've raised, and I, as the head of the department, continues to advise government and direct how we can plan the Connect PNG. If you look at the Connect PNG program on the 16,500 kilometers, 9,000 kilometers of that is subnational, meaning provincial towns and city roads is captured in there as well. But these are not just any roads. These are priority roads, roads that make economic revenue, roads that link to cocoa production and vanilla and coffee and all other cash crops. So that is how the economics of the Connect PNG program was designed to unleash. Just like a case in point is the transnational highway. The initial study by the transport department was from Malalawa, from Kaintiva coming into Malalawa. But when we did a reassessment by the department ourselves, we've assessed that there's a lot of people living in the West Kerema side. So we made a change to realign that to come through West Kerema, through Kanabea, through Hawabango, to Koditanga. And that is when most of the population are living, the social impacts. So we've directed that to correct it. So those engineering advices are always given to ensure that we do investment that where it's supposed to be linking our people. So it's just a single project that has taken us in this situation, but we are working with the Morobe provincial government to correct it along the coast. So as we speak, the works has commenced from Bukawa going into Sitrum along the coastal road. So we are now working on that to correct it. Yes.
Good that you're correcting it, but if you look at it, it's a total waste of money paying, what, 100 million already? Is it? Is it
55.
right? 55?
55.
You know, it's a total waste of just digging into the mountains, and, you know, it serves no purpose. But, you know, my advice
I wish
to
the
you...
committee could write to the Morobe provincial government and also ask them if they can help us to correct this. You are politicians. I'm a public servant, so I'm implementing government policies.
You are, but an advice is an advice. You know,
Sure.
they're not going to penalize you just for advising them. So it's better to advise the government on the best way possible.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Secretary, one of the challenges that we encountered during the inspection is the contractors, they are not been paid on time. And that is one of the reasons why most of the projects are lagging behind today. We have the Treasury Secretary here and the Finance Secretary here. Could you please inform the committee members here how the process or the claims are done? Is it through the Department of Works or is it through the Finance Department to pay the contractors? And how open the provincial works managers involved in certifying the work and submitting the claims for the contractors?
Okay, I'll start up the explanation and I'll give it to Secretary of Finance to explain on the IFMS process, because IFMS is a very intricate system where it has to follow all the approval processes. But from the inception, the contractor is in the contract allows to submit an IPC monthly. Whether it's 1 kina or 500 kina, 1 million, they must submit a monthly IPC. So that invoice is presented to our works office, provincial works office, the PWMs. The works managers do the inspection with our engineers. They're satisfied that the quantity is claimed, what is on present on site with the measurement sheets, the inspection reports, the measurement sheet are attached as per the bill of quantities. Then they sign off, they satisfy that the work has been done. Then they process it up the rank. So that then we have the delegated officers endorsing it, making sure that they are complying to the standards. So all these checks and balances are done by the provincial office, and then they post the claims up the system, so that the IFMS system is not delegated to the provinces, is at the headquarter base. So the claims has to process here in Port Moresby. So the claim has to come back to us to raise payments and then raise checks in Port Moresby. That's when the finance department comes in for clearances. So I'll give it to Secretary of Finance to give explanation on the IFMS process.
Thank you, Chair, Deputy Chair, and all the members of the committee. Works Department does the check printing. That's their role because the funding sits under Works through the Connect PNG program. They do all the check printing, and after the check is being printed, they submit all the clearances to us, and then we start clearing the checks subject to availability of cash. And availability of cash meaning we need also not only Connect PNG, the other programs of government. We look at what are the priorities of government, health, education, all the others, and then we start clearing checks. And for Connect PNG, we've managed to clear a lot of checks as of last year. So we're carrying forward a lesser amount of checks to be cleared going forward. So that is something that we're working through, ensuring that all priorities of government, including Connect PNG, is sorted out all the time. If we start clearing works only, education will have issues, health will have issues. So that is something that we're managing through that process. And we have a what we call projection that we do every week to pay which sectors. And it comes out from our budget management committee every week. So funding is allocated, and we go through that process subject to availability of cash. Insofar as Connect PNG is concerned, most of the checks for last year cleared off. So contractors, our national contractors are the issues. They want money up front and they will do work. But for other contractors, they go ahead and do work and wait. When the money becomes available, they continue to do work. So our challenge is our national contractors. But we want to make sure that national contractors are also being given a chance to do work and build capacity. If we don't support them, we have an issue. We're not growing the economy within. So I only give clearance once the cash is available at the bank.
Yeah, I see the Secretary of Treasury wanting to.
Thank you, Chair, and Deputy Chair, and the members. Continuation from just yesterday, we through the budget we recognize areas and areas. So since 2024, and a separate appropriation has been set aside. We call it areas WEX, and that's about 100 million been set aside for that. Also last year as well, 100 million as well. But throughout the implementation of 2024, we've increased that up to 382.6 million. So even though we made an appropriation for 100 million, there was an urgent requirement of that, and therefore we moved within the appropriation to ensure that we found another 282 million to top it up. So almost 282% of increase, realizing the magnitude of that arrears. And so we made it available last in 2024. So even though it's appropriation of 100 million, we ended up increasing that appropriation up and an expenditure to that of 382.6 million. Last year, 2025, again 100 million was made provided for in the budget under the works arrears. The payment in which we made out of that 46 million. Again, work within the appropriation to make sure that we had funding to address those areas. So all in all, a total of 530.6 million set aside to address these areas issues. And we will continue to making sure that that element of it is made available.
And how much of that 586 million has been applied to areas so far?
All of 536 has been expended to areas.
So there should be no outstandings on the contracts.
There are areas. There's funding coming through to it. I think the point is that it's been recognized and we're approaching it. And also we have to be mindful of where we have come out from in terms of the economy itself, what we have come through from 2022, 23, 24, as we are coming out from that, from some of the external shocks and our ability to raise some of, internally. So all in all, I think what's important is that there's been recognized an availability of funding going towards that, and we work towards to see how we can manage that. At the same time, the current appropriation that is currently at the moment to address those ongoing programs.
For Secretary of Finance, for all practical intent and purposes, I hear there's a lot of big numbers being thrown around the room this morning. Obviously, that's all done outside of the we established yesterday, outside of the trust fund arrangement that the Connect PNG legislation contemplates. So going forward, going forward, what do you see? Is it are you going to set up the account and then put that money in there for disbursement?
Yes, according to law, we will do that. We will move all money, and then we try to put it into the trust and manage it through that process. But that is a process that we will undertake as per the direction from the committee here.
Sorry, Secretary of Planning wanted to add a supplementary of sorts.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, and the Deputy Chairman and the members of the committee. Just in terms of the appropriation to the Connect PNG program is where we try to meet the 5.6%. You note from the appropriation since 2022 to 2025, it's always below 65% of the 100% actual appropriation that should have gone to the Connect PNG program. As per the legislation,
And that very much attributed to the constraints that we have faced. The fiscal envelope is insufficient to meet the actual requirement as per the Act. So as we spread the resource across to every other sectors, whether the competitions are very, very high. Just giving you some numbers in terms of the aggregate, just for last year, just for you to understand. For Connect PNG, the total appropriation was 590 million kina. And the revised appropriation stands at about 525 million kina, less 65 million, and 65 million has been transferred. So the warrant appropriation from the reverse appropriation of 425 million is for 469 million kina. That's the warrant appropriation. So the actual expenditure stands at 413 million so out of the 590 million kina total appropriation, 413 million is the actual expenditure due to cash flow issues. So that's the issue that I think we have had. I think at some point in time, and one issue that we are seeing from our end, planning department, managing the CAPEX, capital investment budget, I think it's our ability to front load. I think going forward we need to front load 100% of the appropriation for the Connect PNG. Not only Connect PNG, other critical expenditure items in the budget so that the Department of Works can continue to deliver rather than sitting for the warrants to be issued. And finance has to match the cash with the warrants. So I think that's basically the challenge that we are facing.
Secretary, the figures you referred to out of the budget is 590 million in 2025.
Correct.
And about 413 million was paid of that 590, correct?
Correct.
That's what, 80-90% serviceability?
I'll probably leave to Department of Works.
Sorry, Chair, and then I just in addition to what Secretary Planning mentioned to you, since the inception of the program, we've been underfunded. If you are ensuring us to now create a trust account, we need 1 billion kina in an annual budget. That has been underfunded, and if the committee can take up that to also make recommendations to Cabinet and also to Parliament, that the government needs to honor its commitment in terms of financing, so we can have enough capacity to fund. Because what the committee picked out in terms of delayed payments is an issue that we face, because the amount of cash we have to disperse to pay the contractors are lacking. So in 2022 we received 350 million. 350 million. That's if you minus that from 1 billion kina as per the Act, that's 650 million minus. Then you have 2023 budget allocation, we got 480 million. That's from Connect PNG alone. So that's minus almost 520 million kina outstanding from that enacted amount. Then 2024 we got 600, that's balance of 400. This last year we got that 590 that Secretary Planning was mentioning. So almost we've lacked 50%, almost half of the allocations every annual year. So hence the delayed payments, as you can see from our contractors.
Well, it's
And
relative.
our project, sorry, Deputy Chair, our project cash flow across the program is 100 million kina in a month. 100 million kina, approximately 100 million kina in a month to pay contractors across the network, across the program. And if we are getting warrants of like 20 million, 30 million kina warrants, you could expect these delays in payments. Because we are thinly spreading that funding to all projects. Like you have to pay $1 million kina to give a project cash flow for the contractor to be on site. Otherwise they'll stall the project. So, and that is as per the contract. We got to honor the contract to just continue to keep them moving. Sorry.
Sorry, we have secretaries. I hear you. So in 2022, total of 350 million kina was paid or was
Was warranted.
warranted?
Warranted.
That was out of what? What was the?
That's out of Connect PNG.
Sorry, I mean, what was the total?
Out of 1 billion. So if you minus that, it's
We're doing 1 billion, but what was the total budget? What was the budget in 2022? Total sum.
350.
No, the total sum of the Section 209 appropriation bill. 20.
I think in 2022, Deputy Chair, 2022 is the year you will see when the Act came into effect. So that's the first time we saw in the budget line the Connect PNG funding. So that's the 350 is referring to.
Okay, then that was.
Other budget lines are for different roads.
I'm
and
asking the
different
question because the Section 3 of the Funding Act says 5.6%. So your threshold is 5.6% of the total appropriation bill.
Which is national budget, not DOW budget.
Correct, national budget.
Yes.
That's what I mean. So that you could either go 1 million or 5.6, 1 billion or 5.6% of total budget.
Correct.
Right. So in 2022 was 350 million.
Yes.
Okay. In 2023,
480.
480 million.
Sorry, 450.
450.
The revised appropriation, the actual warrant we receive after the, it's 480.
480. Okay. Then 2024 is 600.
Yes.
And 2025,
It's 525.
525.
That's a revised appropriation.
Of course, this is these are figures according to legislation, 5.6% and or 1 billion, whatever, rounding it off, per annum. DSIPs will be 1 billion also, 1.18 billion. That's DSIP. This is for all your 92 districts, 96 districts. See? And then you add the province PSIP. That's how much? 200 mil. So altogether, it's about 2 billion. Or if it's 1.813 plus 200 million. You have, of course, your challenges balancing the books with treasury and finances of a warrant, and cash flow. This Connect PNG is 1 billion kina to be paid to get the program running. 1 billion. So the question is it feasible to run this program or not? I mean, with the challenge with health and education, your DSIP challenges, district roads, law and order, is this a workable, is this a feasible program? I understand the opening sentence in the policy is that it is an ambitious program, correct. Question is, based on our realities, our moms and dads, our children, is this a really feasible project we should be continuing down this path? I know legislation is set out, but is it working for Papua New Guinea?
Sorry, Deputy Chair and Chairman, through you. The program design is very good. We can attest or maybe talk about the design of the program. It's the good intentions, and the design is to benefit. And that 16,000 kilometers, as we've discussed, is for those key economic roads that will unleash the economic potential. It's the ability for the government to continue to fund so that we can have good roads connecting our communities right across the country. People like the one that you visited in Telephone, they've been neglected for the last 50 years or even since Adam was born. That's what our member make mention. So as you drive up there, you would not even drive to even visit Telephone. Or even in your lifetime, you would not have gone to Telephone if that kind of program was not done. So the design of the program is very good. It's just the ability to fund it, and we could look at how we can refinance our the government arrangements and implementation of the program going forward. So as part of my management, we are working on a revision of the program from three-phase program to two-phase program, and looking at amending the contracts to allow contracts we can pay through our cash flow adjustment. So that is something that I'm doing internally to correct what we are also facing from the project front. Then we can manage it with treasury and planning and finance on how they can manage the cash flow. So what's within my control, we are trying to fix.
The
Yes.
question is, yeah, agree, I hear you. Now, the difficult, initially there was a figure raised by the good secretary for planning, but before him, there was a arrears PNG Connect figure also mentioned by Secretary for Treasury. Are these independent line items in the budget and therefore different cash flow? So that new item you're dealing with, arrears PNG Connect, is to deal with arrears contract servicing, correct, specifically?
Thank you, Deputy Chair. I think the question was raised on arrears. And for that particular reason, I responded to say that we had separate lines we made available in 2024
Yes,
and 2025.
yes,
And out of those two separate lines, we made appropriation of 100 million each.
yes,
What I also told you too is that we went because of the urgency and the need for the contractors to make sure that they continue on to do the work. In 2024, it went from an appropriation of 100. We ended up paying them 282.6. Now you're going to ask me a question: where did that other 286 come from?
yes,
That is all within the budget,
yes.
but we do the transfers, and these are depending on the urgencies of the matters that we try to address.
Thank you.
So for the benefit of this inquiry, a question was raised in particular to arrears.
Yes,
So that's taking point one. The other point in terms of 5.6 of the percentage of the budget, what is being made available to you is just a direct funding from the government. But government is not the only direct funding that funds all of this process. There's inclusions of the loan projects, right? There are roads that have been funded by ADB, World Bank. My two colleagues will provide that information. And taken together, how much do we get close to that? $1 billion we're talking about. I think it's important that we provide full information and how we work within that. I think also in that act, I think Connect PNG Act, there's an opening that makes reference to say subject to the fiscal space.
yes.
So on what we do, there is an ambition for us to deliver this, but we must always maintain that we stay within our means.
Fiscal responsibility.
Fiscal responsibility, it's very important, and that is why we sit around here and we make these choices. It's all about economic choices. What then we have to do? Of course, there will be some opportunity cost. Okay, there will not be, everybody will be happy. But at the bottom line, at the end of the day, we get project implemented, we get all people connected, and whatever that we do out from these particular investments in these very important roads, we must get an economic returns out from this. And that return in terms will go back to finance the loans that we are getting, and then we can continue to expand more on this. But I think the focus of this question was, do we have, are we addressing the arrears? Of course we are doing that arrears, and it's going to take a while to do it. Perhaps we look at what's the best modality should we use. Should we do that through the trust account? Put a trust account and make a trust deed that specifically says that these are for the areas to be managed? These are some of the conversations we will have, but I think it's important making sure that
Thank you.
you answer your questions over there.
Thank you, Secretary. So, see, basically, in my observation, the Act compels the creation of a trust fund. That has to be the source from which contracts are to be serviced. And this is going down to the foundations of fundamentals of fiscal responsibility and the fiduciary duty. Okay, so we are on the same page. We are saying the same thing. With respect to arrears, even arrears would have to be settled out of that fund. So the doctrine of tracing will dictate that anything and everything emanating out of that fund belongs to the people of Papua New Guinea out of this project. So you cannot expend over, you cannot overcommit. That's the whole idea of the fund. We have not done that. This is the reason why you have arrears, because probably we're writing too many contracts over and above capacity. This is where you keep your dashboard at the works and you reconcile that against actual liquidity. And so that's where APC comes in. Instead of APC, you have the fund already sitting there to service actual contracts. So you will not find yourself in a situation where you have arrears being created because of this, that, and the next thing, because of cash flow. The act was set up so that there's no arrear situation. But if there are arrear situation and we are probably overcommitting the state on contracts, then the question begs, is this program feasible considering our appetite for health, our health budget, our education needs of the country? Are these going to be, is this project going to, are these very fundamental service lines going to be compromised because of one program? It's only a question, but sir.
Chairman and Deputy Chairman, just to head on, try and explain the Department of National Planning being responsible for the development budget for the country under which Connect PNG Program falls under. And just in addition to what my colleague Secretary from Treasury has mentioned, the difficulty that we have every year during the budget formulation process, the Department of Works comes with their bids, like everyone else, other sector agencies of government as well. And planning, coordinating the development budget, and the difficulty that we have is they come with 5.6% bids. And the recommendations that we get from every time at the Ministerial Economic Committee is to give them 5.6% of the appropriation. For instance, this year 30 billion kina budget, CAPEX is only about 10.8, and direct financing from government is about 7.6 billion kina. Even 5.6 billion would be too high. And every time we've gone against the Ministerial Economic Committee recommendations to give them 5.6%, for the fact that try to address some of the, we don't compromise other critical sectors of the economy. That's why you will see that when you look at the aggregate since 2022, it's always below either billion kina or the 5.6% of the appropriation. So we're still cutting back so that we can also cater for other competing priorities of government as well, in education, in health, in law and order, and other sectors of the economy. So that's basically the challenge. The fiscal landlord dictate otherwise as to the level of appropriations that goes to Connect PNG. And I think it's for the Connect PNG for us to reprioritize as to what are the critical corridors that we should address. Everything else, we need to face it out in the course of the Connect PNG period. I think that's something that we have to.
Thank you, Secretary. Just one other question that comes to my mind is there a policy in place, or what's the guideline for choosing what road is capable of being treated under the Connect PNG program? Is there a criteria, Secretary?
All right, so thank you, Deputy Chair. That I think I mentioned briefly on your earlier question in relation to the criteria. The selection of that 16,000 kilometers came from a transport economic studies on road corridors based on the corridor development concept under the PNG development strategic plan. And then the national transport strategy was developed, and we have the medium-term transport plan number 2, now number 3. So this selection of the criteria of selecting these corridors were based out of these policy studies. And then NEC decision was made, NEC decision 50, NEC decision 50 of 2020 on the selection of those corridors, where 7 corridors were selected initially, and then the NEC decision, subsequent decisions, NEC decision 113 and 312, which increased to 14 corridors from the initial 7. So those priorities were developed based on transport studies, undertook by Department of Transport, not just us. So it was a full corridor study. The selection was based on the national highways. You have national highway disconnectivity. You have Maki Highway that is between Central and Million Bay. You have a disconnection. So we did a transport study to identify route alignment to connect between Central and Maki, because there's economic potential within those missing links. So the selection of those corridors was based on our national road network. Current national road network we have is 13,750 kilometers. That's based on the February Gazettal of last year.
Yes.
So that national highway network is to connect between border of Indonesia in Wutung all the way to East Cape. So that's the route, almost 2,000 kilometer route from Wutung all the way to East Cape. And then you have east-west across the country from Leh all the way to Kopiago to Telefomin. So these roads were conducted in terms of how the population has been distributed, the economic potential of those sites, like resource corridors, plus where the agriculture potentials are, including connecting the special economic zones. So if I couldn't able to produce you the road network map today, but the road network map, that's how the network has been developed and planned based on those priorities. And then if you look at our policy formulation, that's our national road network strategic plan. So all our connecting road network development is based on this blueprint of road network development in the country based on our transport priorities. So that's how we've been implementing this Connect PNG program and the selection of those corridors.
Thank you. Can you, you'll be kind enough to give us copies of those NECDs you referred to?
Yes.
And also the nice, beautiful yellow
So
document.
I can pass you this right now,
Thank
and I
you.
can give you the copy of the NECDs later.
Thank you, Secretary.
Yeah.
Now, Secretary, how do roads within a province qualify for Connect PNG? Example, are there roads within the province?
Yes, there's a sub-national network. That's what I was referring to. So you categorize in terms of the road network classification. That's what the Road Management Act does. So the Road Management Act of 2020 classifies the road in terms of national road, provincial road, and district road.
Yes.
So that classification identifies which roads are districts, which roads are provincial roads, which roads are national roads in terms of functionality. So that's what we call road hierarchy classification. So in terms of that classification, in terms of geometry, in terms of standard widths of the roads, we classify them according to the type of traffic and the economic activity along those corridors. So in the provinces, we have roads that are district roads and provincial roads. In the Connect PNG program, 9,000 of that has been now selected to be under the program. So what we have done so far is to work with Treasury and Planning. Now we've secured the loan financing from ADB to counterfund 4,000 kilometers of that 9,000 to be part of our program, which is to connect all those commodity roads, basically agriculture purpose roads, oil palm purpose roads, fisheries purpose roads, those that connect to now make an investment program like Connect PNG. That's what we've done since taking office. What my predecessor left, we take over from there, and we've improved the program. So financing has been an issue. We have a dedicated program through the loan financing arrangement. So we can able to have contractors being paid on time, because GeoPNG has issues cash flow financing them. So that's what we are trying to do, including support from tax credit, as you've seen Octedi funding our program up there in Telefomin Tabubil, and from Kiunga going up, ceiling all the way to Ningrum now. Yes. As we speak, the ceiling has reached Ningrum for the first time. So those are financing arrangements we are working on at the moment.
Thank you. Secretary, just before you finish, under the Pukpuk Treaty, there's a lot of support being given to various sectors. One was given to defense, and there's a major investment, Australian taxpayers' money investment in the Goldie Barracks happening. How do you feel about the road that relates to that particular national infrastructure? Is that also something that qualifies to be serviced under Connect PNG?
Yeah, the last year government allocated 5 million kina for Goldie Barracks Road.
Every other year it's been committed 5 million kina, nothing to show for. The portals is like walking on Mars. The road from Laloki Junction to Goldie Barracks was a national, leading to a national asset.
National institution.
National institution, correct. Shouldn't that be important enough for the department to look into and take up?
We've worked with the Northeast District. They've already formulated a contract. Contractor has carried out some maintenance. We're working to...
That's not in Northeast District.
It's
The
in
road is in Hirikwayari.
Hirikwayari. Okay, we'll correct that. Very good, very good.
And there's a confusion on the ground that my district is taking the money that is not actually being there. So in my capacity as deputy chair of this committee, I want to understand more.
So we can discuss that with you and then look at how we can fixing it.
That would be a very good thing for those
you have to express your conflict of interest.
No conflict there, sir. It's a national asset. I am a national leader. And as national leaders, we have obligation to our national people. But I see an eagerness from the former Secretary for Works to highlight some issues before we
thank you.
progress.
Just to add on the comments on whether Connect PNG is visible or not, the funding. The 5.6% came out of a thorough investigation of the conditions of the highway. There is a oversight report been done that says that all of our assets were in a depleted state and would cost the government 45 billion kina to rebuild. And we sat and thought about it, and we developed this 40-year strategy. Out of the 40-year strategy came the prioritization of the important highways now that is under the Connect PNG. The 5.6% is about 1 billion every year. Is in our view, in line with the growth projections of the economy. We thought that we could fix some key priority highways, the lifeline highways of the country. So we put the minimum 1 billion kina every year would build, develop, help to fix issues on Magi Highway, Hiritano, Highlands Highway, Bulminski. I think we're sitting here, seeing some major changes that's taken place over the last 4 or 5 years. From what it used to be some 20, 30 years ago, we used to fight for the funding that used to be allocated for maintenance some 10 years ago was only 30 million to run the entire network, 30,000. And you could see the build-up of maintenance backlog, rehabilitation backlog, and the country was sitting on a time bomb. It was unmanageable, so it was a deliberate intervention with the support of the government to make sure minimum guaranteed funding was always made available. And the chairman and the members, we can't go back to the old way of doing things and expecting different results. It won't work. We just go back to a depleted state. And without road accessibility, where do we go as a country? It's not possible. I think it's all about the plans are there, as you have said, in line with the funding availability. We just have to stick to the plans that have been done. I think the Road Fund Act, Road Management Fund Act, clearly stipulates the phases. The 20-year program is broken up into three phases. So if we stick to the game plan and make the funding available with strong governance on the fund management, I'm sure it's possible. We can do it. We're doing a lot of roads already, opening up new missing links, building up the existing highways to standards that are now in a better state. The work has started, and I just want us to the work must continue, and the progress that is there must be maintained. It's just management of it, management of the fund, management of the program. I think if we get these two right, nothing is impossible. We can reach the goals that are specified in the 20-year program. Thank you.
Thank you, former secretary. Before we run out our discussions, I think we have the Mr. Joe Sapa from the Chief Executive Officer of National Procurement Commission. Joe, could you please assist the inquiry to understand your role in the bid and the procurement process?
Thank you, Chairman and the members of the committee. The National Procurement Commission was established by an Act of Parliament in 2018. Our main roles and responsibilities to provide support and assistance to the government through its agents or agency in terms of procuring goods, services and works. So in the context of Connect PNG, we work very closely with Department of Works and Highways to support them in terms of doing the procurement, to facilitate procurement, do public tenders, and assist with the evaluation and selection of the contractors. So that's basically what we do. Yeah. Thank you, Chairman.
Basically, when a contractor is requested to provide the design and scope of the contract, what happened after that? Is that submitted to you after the WEX division have gone through the certifications, or where do you come in between that process?
In terms of procurement, we have adopted an 18 steps procurement. But to support WEX, what normally happens is for the Connect PNG program, the Department of Works requests for tender through my office to National Procurement Commission, and we assist them by way of allocating tender numbers as well as the necessary documentations. And after that, we seek for, through APC, the authority to pre-commit committee to ensure that the funding are available for the particular project. And that is when we go out to public tender. And
Which department advise you on that? Finance
on
or
APC?
Treasury?
Treasury.
APC is a committee,
APC
consists of
committee.
those three agencies. So they tell us of the availability of funding by way of the budget appropriation, since Connect PNG is funded by the government, and then we go out to the public tender. And each public tender takes a maximum of around 3 weeks to 4, it depends. And after that, we set up the evaluation committee. So the evaluation committee, normally 2 members of the committee are nominated through the procuring agency, which is the Department of Works, who also chairs the evaluation process. 2 members coming from National Procurement Commission, and we have 1 each from Department of Finance and 1 from the State Solicitor Office. So those are the committees that are established by the Act to progress the evaluation of the projects.
Secretary, I think we're coming more, we spent a fair bit of time on these issues, but I was going to ask about the planning, and there's a lead on from the selection of projects. Do you think there's a need for cost-benefit analysis of projects? Have you done any economic studies on the multi-billion kina projects that we are highlighting and flagging off and deploying under Connect PNG?
Yes, correct. And I would like to thank Secretary Treasury for highlighting the loan assistance and most of the funding that we receive from the big donor partners. Cost-benefit analysis, economic investment studies are being undertaken, including climate risk assessments, social impact assessments. So these studies are prerequisite for a project to be funded. So those studies are always undertaken for all these big projects, funded by loans and our PNG government funded, yes.
Oh, so you do the modeling as well on the economic return of each of the roads, correct?
Correct, yes.
Is there a summary of sheets that we can rely on for our purposes?
We can produce, as you've stated in some other documents, we can put it in writing on what you want us to produce.
Correct.
And we can provide, finish those reports that we have.
Yeah, well, I think it's important, imperative for the nation to be fully informed. We're not telling one side of a story. We make sure to be expository and to give the full details and justifications why certain roads are flagged. Example, that the Taubul to Tolokoma Road, for instance, is 300 million kina already expended. Of obviously component of tax credit, Go PNG funding. Be that as it may, it's PNG money, tax credit or otherwise. It's PNG money that's the contract the developer is already going to benefit out of through clawbacks on tax benefits. So it's PNG money being spent on the front end. Question is, at what point do you project returns yielding from this road, for instance?
Over a time, for the design of our roads, 20 years design life. for the pavement. So traffic's projected over 20-year period. So the economic model is based on vehicle operating cost and the value of time on transport economics and road safety savings on accidents. So those economic models are being changed, including maintenance and operational costs. So these are basic cost-benefit analysis and cost impact assessments on how we can able to implement policy programs. So that has been done, but 20 is design life and operational life.
Thank you very much.
Chairman.
Chair, sorry, me walking some talk past time. I'd like to also talk about funding in so far as what we have the SRB money staff to. So when we talk about these things, we must be mindful of us also looking at how we can be able to support that program through that. Monies are given to all everywhere, so we need to come so that we can be able to support. And there's some roads that we do, like the Goldie to, from Laloki to Goldie, it's an existing road. And normally it'll come under PNG Road Fund to Fund. It's not Connect PNG, because it's a road that is already being built. And Connect PNG comes in only to make sure that we maintain roads that are already built. So there is another part of the program that does not sit with Connect PNG. But the Connect PNG will come through that process by law, which we have not dealt with over time. That is something that has been highlighted by the committee, which we will look into. Obviously, next year we will try to make sure that we run that process, having funds that goes through that process, and run that process through.
You meant to say this year, 16th of February.
Next year we will make sure.
16th of February you will open the
yes,
account.
we will open the trust account.
And you will put money in there.
Yes.
And you will operate it this year.
Agree. That will be done, but the funding already sits there. We can be able to move for some of the funding across to that, and that'll be operational by next year.
No, operational this year.
Depends on the process.
Secretary, I don't think you understand. You are in breach.
Yes, I know. We will have to start
you are
working
in
on the
breach
process
already. So to at least mitigate that exposure, you will set up the account.
Definitely.
And you will put the money in there, and you will finance. You will implement the project this year.
We will.
2026.
Definitely, that'll be done. A trust account will be open in the next 2 weeks. That'll be done.
Thank you.
Then we'll work with the department and see how best we can be able to deal with that and go by your instructions. That shall be done. Whether this year or next year, it'll be done per your instructions.
No.
This year.
Secretary. Not my instructions. It's the wish of the law. And our duty is to carry the will and intent of the law. The people of the country have willed it through these acts, not Keith Iduhu. Thank you.
Chairman, just one comment from me. Deputy Chairman, you mentioned about some sub-national roads.
Yes.
Being considered as a Connect PNG, we'll be taking the risk in terms of addressing the 14 corridors already.
Yeah, I think that's been clarified by the Secretary for Finance.
Yeah, agreed too, because from the way we see from planning as well as treasury in terms of resource constraint, we're already carrying just about 300 million Connect PNG arrears. So it's going to seriously, it's going to take a lot on the Connect PNG program funding. If additional roads headed to the Connect PNG program for now. Coming back to your question on the, you raised the issue on the subnational roads. What we did for this year, as far as the appropriation is concerned, over the last couple of years, we have been carrying a lot of subnational roads, district roads for almost a lot of these members of parliament. And we have realized that if we go by that trend, obviously, we have to accommodate for 96 district roads. So the appetite was big. So what we did for this year with consultation with Department of Works, we have decided to accommodate a program in the budget called subnational roads, under 50 million kina in total. And that will be we'll leave that to Department of Works to work closely with, based on the programs that they have, they can support all the district or the sub-national roads in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Chairman.
State Solicitor, you want to say something or make a comment?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. I was going to add on to NPC CEO answering your question, and where does NPC starts? So I was going to make a comment that basically NPC process starts when the relevant government agency, including Department of Works, come to them to advertise. So, and then the advertisement starts, what do we call it, tender advertisement, also the advertisement to invite bids. So, and then it goes through when the applications come, they're screened to and then TFC, which is a mini board or committee of NPC, screens the bids and then sends the recommended bidders to NPC board. And Tomeresa was asking about the civil the engineering, where they involved. They are also involved in the National Procurement Board. They are members of the NPC board. Yeah. So that's when NPC comes in. So there's limits to the threshold, they call it. So when it's over 10 million, NPC would make further recommendations to cabinet to award. But if it's within their threshold, they based on the technical evaluation committee's recommendation, they make the award.
What is the threshold of the NPC? 10 million. Okay.
Anything above that goes to cabinet. Yeah. There are also other specialist boards approved by NPC and province, including provincial tenders board. Yeah. They've got their own thresholds as well.
On their own thresholds, yeah. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, excuse my ignorance. I just noted a few things from the PAC's recent trips to the various sites. I noticed number 7 and number 8, Tokua to Kokopo, 4-lane. The contract value was 221 million. Now that's the road length is 11.9 kilometers, 4-lane. 221 million kina and 11.97 kilometers. So to expound on the, the disparity of a 18 million kina per kilometer versus a 6.6 on a 4-lane.
So thank you, committee member. That's a very good question you've asked. You're looking at constructing roads in PNG is very, very challenging. Construction materials are not available in all of our provinces. So places like East New Britain, we got to bring in materials from Leh. So going up to Hagen is by truck, but bringing in material from Leh is by ship. And the cost of cement and steel and asphalt, plants establishing them is very costly. So if you look at that, and then the relocation cost, like our Honorable Member for Rabaul was also, she was reading through that particular contract. There's issues with relocation. You have water pipes. The water mains, running through Tagubar section all the way to Tokua. So our cost on the project is also to relocate these water mains, including the telecom lines plus the PNG power, so drainage pipes, and then including the 2 bridges. So you could see the cost imperatives. In Hagen, there is no bridge covered. The relocation services is not there, so that's why the cost imperatives you could see, plus the project locations. Like constructing road in Western Province in Daru, you got to get material from here in 17 mile. There is no gravel in Western Province. So the cost is like tripling the cost of you building a road here in Port Moresby compared to in Western Province. So those were you could see the cost disparities, yes.
Thank you, Secretary. Just for the sake of the numbers, it's good to always explain so people understand. Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you, Secretary. You've come all the way from West Sepik all the way to Escape, and you have called it Connect PNG. And I was so interested when member for Hiri Koyari kept on pushing you with the barracks up there, connecting the roads to the barracks and the Sebore bridge out there. And so you've come all the way and from West Sepik to Milimbe Escape, and you stopped there and you haven't connected the whole of PNG. So whilst you have the program called Connect PNG, what is your plans to connect the maritime districts and provinces? Because you've come and stopped and looked across to Kiriwina, waved at me and come back. So what is your plans to connect me also, to be part of Connect PNG?
Thank you so much. If you look at the MDT4, the chairman and the committee members, MDT4 specifies, if you look at SPA number 2, this is the book, MDT4. SPA number 2 talks about all these transport agencies, sectors. My program is DEEP 2.1. The other agencies are working on DEEP 2.2 and 2.3 and 2.4. And so you can see highways is being upgraded, plus airports and seaports and chatty programs which are conducted by separate agencies of government. That's a bigger picture of government Connect PNG program. So as in my opening statement yesterday, I was saying it's a multi-sectoral and it's a multimodal. So my sister agencies of NAC are doing upgrades in airports, including through the CADI program on airstrips, upgrade with RAA, and PNG Ports is also working on ports and chatty programs. And my department is supporting PNG Ports and Department of Transport as well on technical support in terms of design and feasibility and inspections and all that. So we are supporting at that front, but maybe I'll allow our planning secretary, because he sits at the top in looking at how the Connect PNG program and run and how he's aligning with all these others.
Yeah, thank you again, Chairman. What we're doing in Connect PNG project, high-level project steering committee, we decided to call some of the key sector agencies of government, PNG Power. We'd like to have PNG Power, national grid piggybacking on the Connect PNG road infrastructure. And we're also bringing ICT to also discuss with them. As soon as the road leads to the ports, there has to be a wharf there. So those discussions are being held at the, we haven't really advanced, but I remember we have tasked all of these respective sector agencies to come up with their plans to work closely with the Connect PNG program, so that we can be able to look at Connect PNG, not only in terms of the roads, but everything else. So that's basically where we are. We have started, again, with the financing constraints. We are unable to really look at some big programs in other transport infrastructure. So that's something that will work through the government to make sure. This year we have just kept set some funding for jetties at just about 30 million, and maritime shipping, a national civil service program at 20 million kina. So those discussions are still ongoing at this point in time. So as we progress, we will look at some big funding. And you look at Connect PNG, we're just talking about only one section or two sections of the Connect PNG highways. We're going to look at big financing, and definitely we're going to go abroad to look at some external financing to finance those big projects. And in line with what Secretary has mentioned, like we look at 590 is only direct financing from the government. Our development partners are coming in. World Bank, ADB. ADB, we just borrowed about 1 billion kina and 1 billion USD. To finance the Sustainable Highlands Highway from Lei Najab to Celtica Junction, Mount Again. So those are arrangements we are looking at in terms of the future financing arrangement to fund the Connect PNG program. It's not going to be easy as we think. It's going to be a massive investment program. A lot more financing is required, and from outside as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just before we come to towards the end of our discussions this morning, one quick question I wanted to ask was, Secretary, have you, in the last 5 years, received any court claims, court cases instituted by contractors out of Connect PNG?
From Connect PNG existing contract claims, we have not received any court claims. Our contractors have been very, very patient.
They're very happy, huh?
Not necessarily happy, but they've been very patient and understanding our government situation. Have been bearing with us. So for those initial contracts that we've left out through, those 13 ones that you've also, took time to also make visits, have not really put us on notice.
Yeah, the area's situation is actually a bit of a concern.
Correct.
Because these are contingencies that can expose the state to interest that can accrue beyond our control. You know, there was once upon a time a 1.8 billion road construction from Bautama to Tubusereya by Atlas, the Atlas construction back in the 80s. That litigation continued into the 90s and 2000. And what was 1.9 million ended up something else. So we are talking about hundreds of millions of risk exposure to the state. So
I totally agree. For other contracts, we have litigation measures, but not necessarily the ones under Connect PNG. But others outside of our other programs that we have before, we have some litigation matters going through court. Yes.
All right. So thank you, highly esteemed gentlemen, the secretaries, CEOs of National Monitoring and Coordination Authority, State Solicitor, Mr. Rolpagarea, and Mr. Sapa of NPC, Secretary Works, Secretary Planning, Secretary Treasury and Finance, Mr. Kayo, and Mr. Mick. Thank you so much for your attendance these last 2 days. On behalf of the committee, I want to thank you sincerely for your cooperation and your yielding to documentation that's required of the reports. The committee wants to put forward a holistic report as much as possible in the March sitting. So with action items recommended, and I think some of those action items, thank you, Secretary Finance, to assist us with this compliance of the legislation. The respective managers of provinces who have turned up and your regional managers, I want to thank you sincerely also for your cooperation and support. We take this hearings extremely serious under Section 216 of the Constitution. The Public Accounts Committee implements, and through the Public Finance Management Act, its roles, responsibilities. Among, apart from its own hearings of its own volition, the Auditor General's report was also where we take lead from. But this last 2 days has been very productive, if I may say, and we continue to work together. It's in the best interest of our nation and best interest of our people to see that these projects, this program is successful. If it's implemented in the true intent and purpose of the structured legislative framework, then compliance will ensure it's really for the best interest of the project and its survival. So once again, thank you so very much for volunteering information. I think during the earlier part of this morning's discussions, I requested copies of IFMS printouts from 2020 to December, perhaps 2025, and copies of payment checks, and maybe just a complete schedule of all payments that have been to contractors and anyone connected to the Connect PNG program. So for full visibility and full appreciation of the scope, and also to have us understand also the level of arrears that have been highlighted and have been managed, and how the strategy to retire those areas as well. So once again, thank you so very much, and I wish you all a wonderful rest of the week, and hopefully we can put to rest a lot of these matters of mutual interest in relation to the program and the work that great work that you all do. Thank you. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. On behalf of the PSC committee, I would like to officially announce that the inquiry is now closed. Thank you.
Chairman, if I may say something on
Yes.
behalf and yeah, Secretary of Works might want to say something, but let me on behalf of those of us who are called to attend, we thank you for the opportunity, and we look very much forward to be working with this committee. It's in the interest of Papua New Guinea that we attended here to answer your queries and find ways forward where committee finds that we have gone different ways. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Chairman, on that note, in order for us to comply with the directive given yesterday, Deputy Chairman and the members, I want to seek clarity on the practicality of coming back within the next 2 weeks. I can see that we need to go and get the trust deed in order, to put it in place, and we also would need amendments to, we can see some cross-referencing but not in order, and also we need to get authorities on who to be the signatories to the trust. That might take some time to talking to ministers or even cabinet. So my query is in relation to timing.
In yesterday's discussion, I announced that it's 30 days. But we proposed that if you could get it within the next 16 or 15 days, but 30 days maximum. Should be enough time.
Perhaps, if I may, so in terms of dates for setting up the instruments and the deed, I believe today is the 3rd. We're looking at the 17th, make it the 24th. So by the 24th of February, perhaps we can reconvene and you can give us a report. Is that feasible? That's a month. So if Parliament sits on the 10th of March, the chairman and the committee intends to present the report and action items that have been actioned on that occasion. So we are hoping perhaps the 24th and sometime before that, if you will permit, before the end of the month.
I think, Deputy Chair, that
31st?
we can work through it. We've taken note of your request. 30 days is okay. We will work around the 30 days. As you have said before, 24th, we'll work on it. I think Secretary of Finance and Treasury will administer the process for us because of the trustees process, amending the appropriation on reallocation processes within the FMS system. So that's something that they administer for us. So we'll give you on a letter in writing on the processes before the 24th to explain the process has done so far, the progress on the accounts and all the other trust instruments that needs to be in place. So that will be part of our submissions to you. So what we can, on behalf of, as I have the mic, let me thank the chairman and the deputy chair and all our esteemed members for taking time to go to the provinces. I think it's the first time to see Public Accounts Committee. I'm not really sure, but the Public Accounts Committee to go all the way to the project sites, to visit the sites and really see the challenges on how we are actually constructing roads in some challenging parts of our country. And so that you could at least understand where are the challenges and how we are managing the contract. So on behalf of my management, my team, my deputy, 4 deputies, and the regional managers and all the works managers present, of all my staff across the establishment, we want to thank you for bringing us at this forum to hear us out as well, to see how we can fix the program for the benefit of our people and touch the lives of our people. So that is very important, and I want to thank the esteemed members for taking time to talk to us and see where we can improve. And we are glad to work with you and find ways to solve this program for the benefit of people. At the same time, Chairman, through your office, if you can put together in writing all those documents that you've asked us to, finish. You can put it in writing so that we can compile each of those documents and put it to you. I compiled documents, went through the audit committee when they were doing audit, almost 12 boxes full of documents. So I would suggest you would have time to sit down and look through it, because it's a big contract, documentations. So we just put together in writing, and we can see what we can and finish and advise the committee going forward. But with that, on behalf of my team and all our colleague departmental heads who made time to come and sit down, let me thank all of you for all your contributions in this discussion and inquiry. Thank you too much.
Hearing is already closed, so thank you very much again. You can retire.
PNG Happenings.